Welcome to the Simply Authentic podcast, where we hope to inspire you to dream bigger, empower you to take charge of your own life, and challenge you to be your most authentic self.
Welcome back to the Simply Authentic podcast with Angie and Tanya.
Hey guys, we have a guest with us today, and we've had her on before, but trends change from year to year. So Heather Malachowski is here with us. She is the managing partner for Decorating Den, and we're going to talk about all things that are trending in 2025 with regard to interior design.
Yes.
Yeah. And so thanks for having me back.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
This is perfect timing because we just got back from Las Vegas Friday.
Okay.
And we went specifically to see some of the new releases that furniture companies put out and all of these things. So they do this furniture market. There's one in North Carolina, and then there's this one in Vegas. And so we literally got to see everything that all these companies are like just putting out there. It usually takes a couple months for it to be available, but so it was really just good timing because we got to see all this, all these new directions and things that people are going. So
So there are new directions?
There are.
Okay, fill us in.
Yes. So I think the biggest change is going to like a warmer color palette.
Okay.
So keep in mind too, I always like to say this, I should preface everything with this. Trends are not good or bad.
Right.
Your own style, that's what matters.
Right.
Yeah.
These are just things that are now available for us to get.
Okay.
Okay, like more readily available.
Okay.
Now, if you like things and like to change pretty often, things that are on trend, super. If you don't, that's equally as super. You know, we want your home or your office to feel good to you.
Yes.
Right.
So that's my job, is to help you feel good in whatever space you're in.
Right.
So just keep that in mind, because I think people get confused and a little nervous when we talk about trends, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to change everything. Or I'm so out of style.
I'm the wrong color.
No.
Yes.
It is not like that.
Yeah.
These are just things like, they take their cues from the fashion world, who takes their cues from like the Pantone color world. So these are all connected, and it's just, hey, what can we do next? Because we're tired of this last thing. So that's all it is. But the biggest thing is, like I said, we're going to warmer tones.
Okay.
So back to more browns.
Okay.
Fewer grays. Now,
Okay.
we still saw a ton of really awesome mixes of grays, browns, blacks, all the neutrals. So awesome.
Yeah.
I will say though, there just seems to be a little more warmth. So even if you have a gray space, maybe you add a couple of like natural stained end tables or something to help warm it up.
Yes.
Right? You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say that's the biggest change overall.
Okay.
That's a big one.
It is a big one. And I think it's time.
I agree.
Right?
It's nice.
It is. We've seen so much gray and white. And like you said,
Which is lovely.
It's lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you have to run right out and change your paint color. But in terms of when we look at homes, it's going to be nice to have a change of scenery.
It
so to
is.
speak.
Yeah, for people like in the industry that we see home, it is nice to see something just a little different.
It is.
It's refreshing.
Yes.
I feel too, and everybody feels differently, obviously, about their interior paint color.
Sure.
It's such an important part of the space. But I know just my personal style, I lean towards a little warmer coloring anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of fun to see it just come back around after all the years.
Yeah.
Along with the color, I think this is the biggest, I would say, furniture style change. Would be, we're actually seeing a lot more traditional furnishings come back. Meaning, number one, like I said, more wood stains, fewer painted pieces.
Okay.
We're seeing maybe maybe the leg on the chair or the leg on the table is turned, which means it has some shape to it rather than being so straight. So I was really surprised to see just a very cool blend of things. We're still doing the whole eclectic thing where, yes, it's okay to put your mid-century modern piece with a more traditional piece as long as we have it balanced in the room. So but I was a little surprised, though, at seeing some things that had a little more detail to them. Maybe some carving in a wood piece or the front of a dresser.
That is different.
So, yeah, I was just, like I said, I thought it was a really neat blend. And feel like so anybody could find something that they liked. You know, I think you could bring in all these new things and your old things and still end up with this awesome, fresh feeling space.
So give us some examples of if someone has had their house decorated in whites and grays only, maybe with a splash of whatever color they chose. What are some ways, affordable ways, that one could warm the space without having to repaint or buy new furniture?
I know. And that's a big one. And that's
it is.
And I try to help people come up with a design that does that from the beginning. So I'm like, okay, if in 5 years you're sick of this, let's create this space to where we can change throw pillows. Number one, I think that's the easiest thing. It's the most cost effective. Of course, pillows can be incredibly costly, but they don't have to be.
Right, exactly.
They could be from anywhere. Anywhere. TJ Maxx has great pillows.
They do. They do. Home Goods has great pillows.
Home Goods, they've got different textures, all these things. And so one thing I do is I do hoard pillows. Because I get bored. Okay.
Me, same.
I like to change them out.
Pillows.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I have figured out, though, is if I get pillows of a similar size, I can use one set of inserts. And usually, like, it's a nicer set. Maybe it's down or something, so it has a lot of fluff and very luxurious. Well, then if I get similarly sized pillows, covers, I can just replace the inserts or the whole dang pillow, even with the current cover on, can go in the new.
That's right.
Be covered.
Yeah.
And so, you know, most pillows, especially at TJ Maxx, Home Goods, those sorts of places are going to have zippers. Very easy. But it does save space is the main thing. So most of those pillows are going to come with something a little lower quality on the fill, so you don't have to feel guilty about getting rid of it. So pillows, number one. But right along with pillows, I would say throw blankets as accents. We've used them forever, and I think we'll continue to do it. But once again, it's relatively inexpensive. It's usable, same as the pillows.
For sure.
You need it. Well, I do. I need a blanket.
Me too.
Okay.
Always.
And so you could do different textures. Maybe it's just a different neutral. Maybe it's a tan on your gray sofa.
True.
Okay. Or it could be a color or a pattern. I mean, the sky's the limit, like with pillows. So I would say definitely those are the top two. Cost effective
and very easy. Quick.
Exactly.
Get them in a weekend.
Oh, yeah. And you don't have to be afraid because you're really not spending that much money. You can't really make a mistake because you could do something kind of fun. This is where you can be like a little more creative. You can maybe get outside of your box a little bit. You know, do something that you normally wouldn't do. And then you don't feel like you're breaking the bank or doing something very, very permanent. So honestly, those are the biggest.
Yeah, that's good. I would think that rugs fall into that same type of category if, and of course those can run very expensive, but they don't have to. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Honestly, I feel like we do this at my house. I'm going to more often change like front doormats, the smaller rugs, right? Whether it be seasonally or just because I'm bored with a colorway, you know, if I'm just bored of seeing the same thing. But that I would recommend, you know, maybe going that route first especially if your rug, let's say you have one large rug in your living room and it's neutral. Let's say it's gray or gray and white. Okay, that's okay. We warm up
the sofa with some pillows
Right.
and a throw blanket. So now your living room feels warmer. But then maybe your front door rug, you change, but maybe it's only 2x3 or 3x5.
Right.
Okay. And so once again, very cost effective, very fast. You can usually find that size,
Right.
locally.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know, you don't have
exactly.
to order online. So you
Right.
can actually physically go through and find something that you like. So
Yeah.
so my thought on the rugs, even if they're very colorful, I hope that they're colorful enough to where you can put different pillows with that rug. You can go different directions. So even though, maybe there's a lot of color in the rug, you can still do this where you're changing like the little offshoots kind of surrounding that main space.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it makes the whole space feel new.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Great point.
Yeah.
You have a question?
Well, I
about-
was just going to say it's that time of year where there's not really anything to decorate for, right? It's
Right.
like
What do you do?
the doldrums
Right.
of January, February. Okay, we do have a heart holiday coming up, but
Right.
But still, I mean,
not
I
the
don't.
same.
No, it's
just not the same.
So I'm always stuck with what do I do in
Yes.
January, February because everything just feels.
I know.
Blah.
Agree.
So I think if you can throw in some colored pillows or something, that just to me is just
It's refresh. It's like
Yeah.
for me, it
brightens
it's
your
because it's-
mood.
Because
Yeah.
it literally brightens my mood because
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, spring.
Exactly.
Because I want to see green. I
Yes,
want to see
yeah.
flowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And I think too on the kind of making it feel a little springy without going overboard.
Right.
Even just plants.
Right.
Yeah.
House
Yeah.
plants,
Yes.
real
Or faux- yes.
I
Yes.
use faux. I kill them all,
Yeah.
and so they look great. They
Yes.
look real.
Yes.
And to me, I probably wouldn't like my space near as much, like in my own home, without my little
Yes.
greens.
Greenery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Agree with that.
Yeah.
And especially after Christmas.
Exactly.
Because you put all that away, you've gotten
know.
all the
It
Christmas
feels so
decor
empty.
out.
Yeah.
Yes. So then when you bring that back out, it does kind of
like,
heighten your
oh.
mood
Yeah, it's
to
like,
see
oh,
green
it's a
again.
new year.
Exactly.
Yeah, it gives you the motivation, like
Does.
and knowing spring is on the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someday.
It's the real green.
The real
is going to be
green
here
is coming.
soon.
Right. So that is also honestly,
Yeah.
that's
great
relatively
way.
cost effective
Yes,
too.
you're right.
I have found little pots of greenery at every
Every place.
store.
Everywhere. Yes.
Anywhere. You could be a Dollar General. You
Exactly.
Could be Walmart,
Exactly.
Anywhere.
You're right.
Yeah.
And put them on
You
your
really can.
bookcase. Put
Yeah.
one on your end table. They don't have to be
Yeah.
these big arrangements.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we were doing so often in years past, which are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But even just these little small little sprigs
Yeah.
here and there, it just it literally gives life.
Yes.
It makes it feel alive.
Yeah.
It does.
It does. Yeah.
So let's talk about bigger remodels or bigger things like kitchens and bathrooms.
Yes.
So what do you see coming in 2025 with new construction? Is there
Yes.
any change in kitchens and bathrooms?
I would say yes, but really only slightly.
Okay.
Those kinds of places, with a lot of permanent fixtures,
Yes.
thankfully, the change is much slower.
For sure. Yes.
As it should be.
You're right.
Unlike,
Right. It's expensive.
pillows change style
Right.
and all these things. But yes, it's so expensive.
Yes.
It does change, but it's in a more subtle way. I would say what I have seen lately is we are still doing a lot of freestanding bathtubs
Okay.
in master bathrooms.
Okay.
Um,
Love those.
and in people's forever homes, you may choose just to do a walk-in shower. Super. However, we're still, advocating for people who plan to sell in the future to, you need a bathtub.
At the tub, yes.
You need
Yeah.
a bathtub somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree.
But so that's something that's I would say has been a constant.
Okay.
I feel like for sure the warm colors that I talked about earlier, you're seeing a little more of that in
more
the
of that.
bathroom in the permanent fixtures,
Okay.
like maybe the tile, maybe it's a faux marble style porcelain. Well, now more than often it has a little brown vein mixed in with the little gray vein.
Okay.
So are just little easy ways to warm that up.
Okay.
I would also say we are still seeing, this is a new thing, once again, it's more of a continuation. We're still seeing a lot of brushed brass and like warm gold fixtures.
See a lot of that.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
A lot of times they're even mixed with black. So you're going to have two metals even on the same faucet, for example, like a gold and a black.
Yeah.
That's a great way. Honestly, if you're updating your faucets, but let's say you have black hardware on the doors, but you want that gold, you can get one with both colors in it, so it just brings it all together.
Love that.
Yeah.
Just brings it all together. Kitchen-wise, we are definitely sticking with large kitchen islands. I mean,
course.
absolutely. They're so versatile.
Yes.
I am seeing fewer breakfast nooks.
Okay.
Where people are using the island as their casual dining.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, especially if it's large enough.
Exactly. Now, in homes that have been remodeled that maybe had a designated breakfast nook area, you can turn that into a little seating area.
Yeah.
We've done that lots of times.
Yeah.
Where we change that dining spot into like a little hearth room without the hearth.
Yes.
You
Right.
know?
Yes.
And it's coffee, you can read, Bible study, whatever it is, drink your wine.
Right.
It's just, it creates a nice kind of compact, cozy space that's still near all the action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And very functional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would still say, with the islands, they still are getting bigger. If there's enough room,
Yes.
they're going to be bigger.
Yeah.
When there's space, sometimes we'll do a double island, so two islands in the same kitchen. And what happens there is usually the one closest to the living area, that's going to be more of like the serving spot.
Okay.
In a place where maybe the front of that island has, display shelves with glass cabinet doors that are lit, so it's more of a showpiece.
Yes.
And it's for more of the entertaining.
Got it.
Right?
That makes sense.
And then usually the one closest to the perimeter of the kitchen, right? So closest to the appliances, that's going to be like your workstation kind of island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little sink in it, sink, dishwasher, whatever, cutting board space.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's where those stools sit.
So, okay.
So yeah,
Makes sense.
we're seeing all different variations of that. Yeah.
What about styles of cabinetry? The shaker cabinet, very
Still
plain, simple, to the point, really fits many
Yes.
types of feelings and decor. Like if you wanted to go
Yes.
ultra modern, you could use shaker.
do shaker.
If you wanted to go country, you could use shaker. You know,
And
do you
we still do that.
still see that?
And I push it because I think it's great.
Timeless.
Yes.
It's
sort of.
It is
timeless.
timeless.
It's
Yes.
versatile.
Yeah.
Someone may prefer a more ornate cabinet, but I don't think anyone's going to be offended by a shaker cabinet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
you
Agree.
go to sell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
And so that's what I do try and help people. We want to appeal, obviously, to you. It's your home.
Yes.
But thinking of the future, we want to make sure it is,
Always.
appealing to the masses for when you are ready to sell.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as far as the style goes, yes, shaker, we do that all the time.
Okay.
We are seeing a slightly more ornate version. I'm calling it ornate. It's not in comparison.
Has one arch.
Maybe it has. Yes, maybe it's shaker, but with an arch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah. Really going out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not necessarily it's carved. It may not have
Right.
a bunch of raised panels and all that stuff.
Right.
But we're starting to see a little more detail.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah.
Just a little more character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's interesting.
What about we for so long we were doing white cabinetry. Do you see a trend with going in the warmer direction? Do you see more of a trend of stained cabinets?
Right. Yes. Actually, in a lot of new homes where we've been working on, I will say we still do a lot of white.
Yes.
Because it's refreshing, it looks
It is.
clean,
Yes.
it makes your kitchen look big, it's great.
Yes.
And so most times, I would say more often than not, 9 times out of 10, we're still doing white kitchens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe even the secondary bathrooms are white.
Okay.
But we are starting to work in more stain
Yes.
on cabinetry
Yeah.
again. And I love that once again because I like the warmth
Yeah.
and I do like that blend.
Yeah.
So I would say within the last couple years, painting the kitchen island a different color.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Right. Yep.
Or painting your perimeter cabinets a different color.
Yep.
Right.
Like maybe the island's white, these are whatever color.
Yes.
Okay. So still in that same vein, we're doing that, but we're going to paint one or the other and then stain
Yes.
the opposite
Okay.
one.
Yes.
Okay. So instead of necessarily two paints, you may see paint and stain.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah,
I do too.
So
Yeah.
we're still doing that combination of where
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
working on a lot of textures and materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, in the master secondary bathrooms, they're still usually going to get paint because honestly, it's more cost effective,
Yes.
especially in new construction.
Yeah.
Boop, pop those in.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
But in maybe the powder bath, which is the main guest bath, or the master, we're doing a lot more stained cabinets
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
master again,
Okay.
which is
And
great.
it's still, to me, it's still timeless.
very timeless.
You know?
Yeah.
It should appeal to, like you were saying with the shaker cabinets,
Exactly.
to a lot of different styles.
I agree.
You can move in your things and it's going to look good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Love
And
that.
what about countertops?
Yeah.
What are you recommending this year on new construction for countertops or remodels?
Right. So I have manufactured quartz. So when we refer to quartz, everyone is usually talking about manufactured quartz.
Okay.
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 So it's made from quartz crystals and things, and sometimes they mix in little pieces of glass, and then there's like some sort of resin compound, and then they pour it, and it's great.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for the last few years, that's been like the only thing you have to have quartz. You have to have quartz. It's great. I personally don't think it's any better than natural stone.
Right.
It's just a different look.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's generally, and there's some, there's some options where you can get lots of movement in your quartz, but generally, what we see around here is the faux marble. I have it in my own house. It looks great. It looks great. However, when we've been selecting things lately, we're going more natural. We're going back to real stone. Once again, the character, the unique qualities of every slab.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe the fact that there's a little color in it of
Right.
some nature.
Yes.
So I would say we're doing fewer solid color countertops.
Okay.
Whether it be in stone or quartz or formica, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
I would say fewer plain tops, and we're starting to see a little more movement and
Yeah.
pattern on the surface.
I like that.
again.
I do too.
Yeah.
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 Especially
I like
in
the
those,
natural look.
yes, unique pieces of granite that I've got one on my island that, I redid probably 7 years ago. So my kitchen's outdated now, sadly. But I love that slab of granite because it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of, well, besides the cabinetry itself, the most expensive
It
piece
is.
of your
Yes.
kitchen.
Right.
Super important. I think
Yes.
it's awesome that you still love it
Yeah.
after this many years. Like,
Yeah.
that's great. That's what we want to
Yes,
do.
exactly.
Is find something you're like, okay, nope, I'm always going to love that.
Yeah.
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 For sure. Tell us about wallpaper. So wallpaper came back, now it feels like, well, you came and helped me get wallpaper in a bathroom.
I know.
And I feel like that was 9 or 10
I
years
bet it
ago,
was.
Heather.
I bet it was.
So, and that, when I say, I just wallpapered my half bath, it's been a minute ago. And it was just coming back in.
Yeah.
So are you still seeing a lot of that?
Yes,
Okay,
we are.
good.
The wallpaper industry continues to improve its adhesives. They continue to
Yeah,
improve
that's good.
the scrubbability, the cleanability, all of these things. And so, yeah, it's really fun. We still see a lot of it. It's just, it's so beautiful. Can it be out there? Yeah. But that's what's fun about
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. One
Yeah.
wall
That's what's
that's
fun.
out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're doing that in lieu of painted accent walls.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think we did talk about that last time, but that's still a thing. If you want an accent wall, we're going to wallpaper it
Yes.
or recommend wallpapering it
Yeah.
over just a solid paint
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
You know, when I walk into my living room, I have wallpaper on one wall, and it's dramatic. It's a dramatic wallpaper, but I love that wallpaper. That makes me happy when I look at. I've got 3 walls that are just painted, and they're pretty enough, but that wall just makes me happy. In the house I had before this, I did an entry wallpaper in my
so
entry,
beautiful.
and it was teal and cream, and it was, again, dramatic.
It was dramatic.
But that made me happy to look at.
Yeah.
Just because it's different, it breaks up
Yeah.
the everyday
Yes.
look.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
something
Yes.
special for you because
Yes.
Yeah.
it really is just a whole wall of art.
It
It
is.
is.
You know?
You're right.
You
Yeah.
know, and
It's
so
another
and art's very
reflection of art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very personal.
Yeah, you're right.
And so when you find that one that you just love, yeah, it's gonna make you feel good for years.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, and when it's put up correctly, it comes down correctly.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the scary
That is-
thing that people talk about.
Yeah.
And I've helped take down wallpaper that's been glued directly to drywall,
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
naked drywall.
I think we all have.
Oh no!
Yes.
But
Horrible.
once again, on the manufacturing side of things, they are constantly improving the
Yeah,
adhesives.
I'm sure.
Constantly.
Yeah.
To make it easy to come down.
Yeah.
But I will say you still can't put wallpaper on naked drywall.
Okay.
It'll still stick forever and
Okay.
run down your
Good
drywall.
tip. There
you
Good
go.
tip.
Good tip.
You still need to prime it, or it's actually called sizing.
Yes.
Is the product. But in
Yes.
essence, it's a primer.
Yes.
Something just to seal, make a nice seal against.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seal up the powdery part of the drywall itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that can't connect to the paper.
Yeah.
Great tip.
Yeah, love it. One thing, Heather, that you have helped me with is window coverings. And I'm pretty creative, and I know what I like, and I feel like I have a pretty good eye. But when it comes to window coverings, you've been a great help to me in that area because there's so many options.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And so many, I have curtains in my sunroom because you suggested that, and I have some panels in my living room that because my house was built in the 50s, so my ceilings aren't tall. So those panels do really make it feel like the ceilings are tall.
illusion.
It is an illusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
But thinking about those kinds of options, I think even if you didn't want to totally redo your house, those kinds of improvements and getting some real help in terms of what your window covering is can make it feel all new.
Yeah, it really can. And it can be quite an investment. I mean, the good thing is, though, just like any of these other things, we've got a huge range. We've got some ready-made products that are made
Sure.
to fit standard size windows, which there
Yeah.
aren't really any.
Yeah.
But maybe those will work out with the height of your
Sure.
ceiling.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And if they don't, you can go custom, which is a more expensive route.
Right.
But once again, because you have to go custom, that gives you, the sky's the limit.
Sure.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're not limited in any way with fabrics,
Right.
trim, shape, functionality.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel like window coverings are the most, I would say, most difficult part
Really.
of interior design. I think they're very fun. I enjoy doing them. There's a lot of math involved, so you get to be creative and do the math. You get to use your whole brain. So,
Right.
And you're coming up with solutions like, okay, well, they want to see out, but the sun is blinding them.
Yes.
Or it's so hot.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's all these options, and you just come together and create just a special answer, just for your client. And I think that's really fun. But windows, I will say, are very hard for the average person who doesn't do it every day,
Right.
like me. They are hard to make look good. They just are.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, and it really completes a room. So had
Yeah.
you not done anything,
Right.
and been like, I'm going to put up some vinyl mini blinds.
Yeah.
Heather probably would
Yes.
have unfriended you in many ways.
no. Jeez, Tanya.
Well, I say that because it's
Hateful.
Angie.
It is Angie.
She's bougie.
Touche.
I'm like, that's funny. That's so funny, Angie. Now, what are we really going to do?
No, I think.
But it does complete the room.
It
Like it's
does.
like a bow on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting whenever you start talking about window treatments, you always go through this gamut of. I remember the first time I ever bought a blind at the house that I lived in when I first moved to Springfield, and you started asking me all these questions. I'm like, I just want some stinking
I don't know.
blinds.
Like, I don't know.
See?
Just help me.
Fast forward.
Here's my money. No, it is because there are things that our clients wouldn't consider because you don't know.
Right.
Yeah. No idea.
I would not know. A lot
Yeah.
of the things that we ask are questions about, okay, well, when do you sit in the room?
Yeah.
When you sit in there that time of day, do you have a sun problem?
Yeah.
No. Okay, then. That means we've got this, kind of family of products to look at.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do you have privacy issues or not? Are they daytime or nighttime privacy issues? And I only know that from experience because they're questions that I wouldn't have thought of on my own had I not been trained to do
Of course.
that.
Right.
So it's very normal
Yeah.
to get overwhelmed and not know what to even look at. And there's so many brands and products out there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why
It's a
we
whole
hire
new
the
world.
professional
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different
to
world.
lead us through that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to ask about outdoor spaces. So, how often are you helping someone plan an outdoor space? Because I feel like in the last maybe 5+ years,
I was going to say 5-ish, 5, 6.
yeah, in the real estate world, that has become a big
deal.
seller,
Big deal.
a great selling point when you have a great outdoor patio space.
Very important.
So how often do you help somebody do that comparatively to maybe, a kitchen or bathroom?
We actually, we do outdoor spaces less than inside spaces because in our climate, the outdoor space is usually only comfortable for part of the year.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't necessarily have a porch, patio, or deck that is able to be kind of turned into a Four Seasons kind of space.
Of course. Yeah.
But we do help with outdoor spaces all the time. Like some are just, maybe we just need to put a rug down on your patio. Sure. Because there's plenty of outdoor rugs that are colorful.
Oh,
and,
yes.
add a little pizzazz, very cost effective.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
And then other times, we'll do almost an outdoor living area.
Yes.
Maybe there's heaters up there, then
Yeah.
there's fans for the summer, and then there's fireplaces and all the
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So we can go as big or as small
Exactly.
in the outdoor spaces, just like we would on the indoor
Yeah.
spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah. I had 2 screened-in porches in my last house, and now that I have like a true sort of sunroom, I don't ever want to not have a house with a sunroom. It's that important to me now.
Oh,
It's that
Now that you've
important to
had
have
it.
that space.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Every house.
Over the screened-in porch. Do
Yeah.
you miss your screened-in porch?
I do some, but the problem with screened-in porches is you still have to clean them, right? They still
Yes,
get
of
dusty. They
course.
still get
Yeah.
all those things. So I
Yeah.
enjoy that, and I have allergies. So I think
So
that
this is
screened-in porch is just, it allows me to have all the light, and it's a space that I feel really good in, and I feel like I'm outside,
Yeah.
but I'm
Exactly.
not, and I
Yeah.
don't have to
That
clean
makes
it as
sense.
much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, are arches in new construction, are they making a comeback for visual?
Yes. Just like an enhancement.
Yes.
Once again, character.
Yes.
We are, I would say, in small quantities, or
Yeah.
maybe just, let's say, maybe you're arched, just down the main